Hello, Aaron. There you are. Awesome. Okay. It looks like we are going live. Nice. We're live.
We're
I think
live.
you
Check
can.
that out.
So, welcome. Good morning. I'm Steve.
I'm Jenna.
And we're super excited to have you for another Field Trip Friday.
Yes.
We've got a couple special guests with us today who helped us with this week's Field Trip Friday. So I want to introduce Mike Dupree from the Durham County Soil and Water Department or Conservation District. And he is the Agribusiness and Environmental Services Manager there. And he helped us tremendously with this field trip. He came out with us to the Hub Farm to install a rain barrel, which you'll get to see. And so at the Hub Farm, we've got representing the Hub Farm, we've got Aaron Doty. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron is representing the Hub Farm because Ashley Meredith, who helped us, she's another environmental educator at the Hub Farm. You'll see her in the video. She's out camping. So I hope she's having an awesome time. Hope you're having a great time, Ashley. I also want to shout out, or would you like to shout out, Jenna? I've been doing a lot of time.
Sure. Well, I'd like to shout out Spring Valley Elementary School. We have Miss Williams' class with us today. Hi, everyone from Miss Williams' class. Here is a picture of Spring Valley Elementary. This was from Small Cane Architects, the folks who designed Spring Valley Elementary. So we are super excited to have Miss Williams' class with us, and we're super excited to have Miss Williams here with us. So woohoo! I am super excited to relive our visit to the Hub Farm. And I'm also really excited because I didn't watch the video before today.
Ooh.
So it's going to be brand new for me too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to like it. I'm really excited to show it to you. So without too much further ado, I'd like to show us some of our trip to the Hub Farm.
Yeah, and feel free for Miss Williams' class, if you have any questions, feel free to type them up in the chat. If you want to ask Mike any questions, or Steve and I any questions, or Aaron any questions about anything you see here, type them up. Or if you want to share, observations or feelings, I love a good feeling shared.
Me too. Yep.
It's particularly if they're, strong feelings.
Absolutely. Yeah, good, strong feeling.
Write them all in the chat if you would like. Let's get started, Steve.
Yeah, and we'll have time at the end to talk about some of those. So let's check out the Hub Farm. We called this episode Howdy Hub Farm.
My Hub Farm t-shirt.
Nice.
Let's do this.
Let's do this thing. Oops, I need to go to the beginning.
No spoilers.
Hey, I'm Steve.
Hey, I'm Jenna. Thanks for joining us for another Field Trip Friday.
We're here out at the Hub Farm to learn a little bit about soil conservation, water conservation, and how we can use those concepts to do cool things in our lives. And so here at the Hub Farm, they do all sorts of cool things, from planting to kind of raising ducks and chickens and all sorts of other things. So
let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Hey Ashley. Hey Jenna. Thanks for having us at the Hub Farm today. And I have a question. What is the Hub Farm?
Yeah, the Hub Farm is an outdoor learning facility owned by Durham Public Schools. And we have about 30 beautiful acres here that we use for environmental education, career exploration, and the building of outdoor learning capacity in Durham Public Schools.
That sounds so cool. Can we go take a look?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Woo!
morning. I'm Michael Dupree, the Agribusiness Environmental Services Manager with Durham County Soil and Water Department. So I've been asked to talk with you today about soil and water conservation. The Durham County Soil and Water Department works with landowners, agriculture, and urban stormwater runoff, works with landowners to eliminate erosion and solve drainage issues. But ultimately our goal is to protect soil and water resources. So it takes 1,000 years to produce 1 inch of viable soil that we can use to grow our food and raise plants and trees that we use for food and fiber. So our number one goal is to protect soil resources because they are limited. Once soil resources are depleted, it takes thousands of years to recreate them. So it's extremely important that we work with landowners and protect the soil resources on their property. Secondly, water. You know, you cannot live more than 72 hours in a typical situation without water, and every biological system on Earth needs clean water. And so we work with landowners to find ways that we can conserve water, protect water from harmful nutrients that also impact stream life. You know, when you have erosion that occurs on a property, that soil not only is washed away for future generations of production, but it also clogs up the streams, the rivers, and the lakes, causing fish kills, algae blooms, and other harmful effects on that drinking water reserve. So it's our goal to help all individuals in the county to work with them individually and develop a conservation plan for their property so that we can help protect their soil and water resources. Today we are going to focus on rainwater harvesting.
So Mike, we're here at the Hub Farm and we have a lot of tools in front of us. Can you tell us what we're going to be doing today?
Yeah, so the Hub Farm has asked that we install this 60-gallon rain barrel onto this gutter and this downspout so that they can harvest water to use for the watering their livestock. So you can use rooftop runoff to water livestock or water plants. It's not potable water, so you should not drink it unless it's treated.
Right.
But you can use it for outdoor use and use it for livestock.
Cool. And how do we know how much water will come off of this roof?
Well, as a general rule, when you have a rain gauge similar to this one, in a 1-inch rainstorm or rain event, on 1 square foot of roof area yields 0.625 gallons of water. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this roof area and come up with the volume of water that could be harvested on this gutter downspout.
Cool. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So in order to measure the roof, what you try to do is line yourself up. It's not safe to get on a rooftop. It's never something that you should try on your own. You should always work with adults, but you don't have to get on a rooftop to measure a roof area. And we're going to be calculating area. That's math. Length times width. And it's important for us to find out how many square feet of roof area that we have so we can calculate the volume of water that runs off of the roof. So we have aligned ourselves, we have a 100-foot real tape measure, and we've aligned ourselves with the corner of the roof, and now we'll simply go to the end of the roof to get the length of the roof.
Awesome.
So it appears that the length of the roof is 30 feet.
Nice.
So now we have to calculate the width. This is a little bit more difficult, but what you do is stand under the peak of the roof. So the width of the roof is 16 feet. So now we have a math problem.
So let's find our area. Area is length times width. So we measured our roof length as 30 feet, and we measured our roof width as 16 feet. What's 30 times 16? It's 480. So we have 480 square feet of roof. So now we want to know what volume of water we're going to get off of our roof. 1 inch of water by 1 square foot is approximately 0.625 gallons of water. So for Hub Farm's roof, we'll have 480 square feet times 0.625 gallons per square foot, which is about 300 gallons of water. So in a 1 inch rain event, we would collect 300 gallons of water. Cool. So what are the various steps that we're going to need to do to prepare our rain barrel?
So one of the first things you have to do after you've determined your calculated volume is to determine what size harvesting rain barrel or cistern that you're going to install. The Hub Farm has chosen to install a 60-gallon rain barrel. If you've done your math, you'll realize that this roof will easily harvest more than 60 gallons. But nevertheless, a 60-gallon rain barrel is the typical size rain barrel for a homeowner to install. And we can help them engineer larger size cisterns and rain barrels. But typically you start with a solid foundation. In the case here, we use some cinder blocks, concrete blocks that are currently available at any of the lumber yards. And you level the ground and you use a level to make sure that your rain barrel is not going to be sitting at an angle. It's important that it be level, because if you pick up a gallon of water, do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? It's about 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
So if we have a 60-gallon rain barrel with each gallon of water approximately 7 or 8 pounds, this will weigh almost 500 pounds
Wow.
when it's full of water.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure your foundation is secure, that your rain barrel is not going to fill up and tip over
Yeah, just
when
fall
it's
over.
full.
Yeah.
And so, so you level your foundation, and then you place your rain barrel on top of your foundation, check your level, and then the next step is to measure, mark, and saw the downspout at the appropriate height, so that instead of water running across the ground, water will now go into the top of the rain barrel.
Right, that makes a lot of sense, because a downspout usually goes from the top of the roof all the way down to the ground. But if you put a rain barrel, it won't fit underneath. So you have to cut it at the right height so it runs right into the rain barrel. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Let's install this thing.
we've successfully installed the 60-gallon rain barrel. We've run the math, and I hope you did too. And we came up in a 1-inch rain event. We will have 300 gallons of water come down this downspout, and we have a 60-gallon cistern rain barrel. So this is dramatically undersized for the amount of harvesting that we are doing off of this rooftop. The next, we're going to show you a 1,100-gallon cistern here at the Hub Farm.
Great.
So anything less than 250 gallons is referred to as a rain barrel. Anything more than 250 gallons is referred to as a cistern. They are both rainwater harvesting devices, so we capture rooftop runoff and we store it in the tank. So it rained last night. This tank is full. And so there are several devices called level indicators that can show you how much water is in the cistern after a rain event.
Thank you so much, Mike, for today.
Oh, thank you for coming out.
Yeah.
Woohoo, man, that was so fun.
Super fun.
Yes, and we have had a very active chat. I am excited to get some of our folks to answer some of these questions. One question I think would be great for Mike. Someone asked, where can I get a rain barrel?
Mhm.
That's a great question. So the Durham County Soil and Water Department and Conservation District offer rain barrels. You can look online and look at the two options that we offer to Durham residents. There's a 45-gallon version called the Ivy and the 60-gallon version called the Big Moby that we installed at the Hub Farm. And we also have cost share programs for landowners that want to harvest more than 250 gallons. So the example of the 1,100-gallon cistern that we saw at the Hub Farm, we can install and help you pay for the installation of cisterns from 250 gallons to 1,500 or even 5,000 gallons.
Wild. That's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water. Ms. Williams, would you like to ask some of your students questions too?
Sure, thank you. So I have a question concerning the rain barrels. They want to know, well, actually this is for the farm. They want to know, do all of the schools at Durham Public School own this farm?
Yeah, so I'm Erin. Kind of, yes. So the Hub Farm is run by Durham Public Schools. So we're on Durham Public Schools land. So it's accessible to all Durham Public Schools.
Nice.
I heard those chickens in the background
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
They are joining me here. Quite a few. I think they think I'm going to give them food. So they're definitely swarming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very photogenic. Do you have any other questions from your class, Ms. Williams?
Yes, I have two more questions. So I have a question. One of the students wants to know, do they have to have gutters in order to install rain barrels?
Ooh, good question.
Yes, very good question. Yes, you have to have the gutter along the drip edge of the shingles or the metal on the roof to harvest the water, and then you collect the water at the downspout. So the gutter collects the water off of the shingles or the metal roofing, and it transports it to the downspout, and that's where you collect the rainwater that is harvested.
Yeah, because otherwise you just have your rain kind of dripping off everywhere, and you can't really collect it in any one place.
Correct.
I was actually kind of thinking of a follow-up question. Why is it important that we have gutters on buildings?
Ooh.
Or do we have to have them?
Yeah, and the answer is no. I've run into many buildings that don't, but what you'll see sometimes in buildings that don't is there's this edge of kind of erosion or kind of deterioration of the ground underneath the roof. And so a lot of times people choose to put gutters on the roof so that they can direct that water somewhere else. They can either harvest it or they can just direct it away from the foundation of the house or away from like an edge of dirt or other area of their home that they don't want to be getting as wet.
the North Carolina building codes require any new homes have gutters to protect the foundation. Water is the #1 cause of foundations cracking, and that undermines the stability of your home. And so gutters are very important on homes. Any home built before the year 2000 was not required to have gutters, but with gutters, you can harvest water. And with that water, you can take care of all your outdoor needs, including washing your car, washing your home. Those are all kinds of wonderful things you can do with harvested water, and save our potable water, our drinking water, for just that, drinking and cooking.
Exactly. That potable water is kind of energy intensive, right? We have to put a lot of work into making it clean and drinkable. And so if we can conserve that work and that effort and that energy that we put into that, all the better, all the more resources we have.
I totally agree. Yes.
Cool. Do we have, I think, did you say you had one more question, Ms. Williams, or was that it?
Well, there's a lot of more questions.
Of course.
But I know we don't have a lot of time. So I wanted to know if it's possible for the rain barrel information of where some of the students can get more information. If you guys could post that in the chat, and then I'll give it to them, and we can continue doing more research on this too.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Do you happen to have that information handy, Mike? Can you put that in the chat for them?
Yeah, so you can go to the Durham County Soil and Water Department with Durham County government. And once you get to our webpage, our departmental site, you'll see that we have a conservation store. We also sell bird houses and bat houses and other really nice things to help improve your environment for wildlife and preserve and protect your resources, your soil and water resources.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. That'll allow, by describing that too, we'll post it in the chat, but by describing it, you've allowed our viewers that aren't necessarily in the chat to navigate there too. Thank you, Mike. Well, I want to give a special thanks to all of those who helped us put this together. Aaron Doty, who's representing the Hub Farm today, Ashley Meredith, really appreciate all your help and your warm welcome to your space and allowing us to kind of like insert ourselves in this job that you had with Mike. And of course, thank you, Mike, for wonderfully sharing the work that you were doing on that. Not only did you install the rain barrel for them, or I guess we did, but either way, you did that, and you also made a really cool lesson for all of us. So thank you very much for helping us share that experience.
Yes, and thank you again to Spring Valley Elementary and Miss Williams' 4th grade class. Thank you all so much for your wonderful questions, and thank you, Miss Williams, for joining us today on our fun stream.
Thank you so much. This was fantastic. I appreciate it a lot.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. A couple last thanks I'd like to give. I'd like to thank Max Colley is a technical advisor for some of this work and a program manager here at the museum. Willow Alston Soha and Dr. Linda Tagurian are your Durham Public Schools science specialists. And I'd also like to really, Jen already did this, but thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you, Spring Valley. Thanks for being here. This is why we do this. It's for you and your fellow students to learn and experience all the cool places that we have in our community. This is our community, and science is a tool and community for all of us.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Yep. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And so all of y'all, stay curious, and we'll see you next week.